Thanksgiving is a time for food, family, and gratitude, but not every celebration ends with warm memories. Tonight, I'll share with you 3 terrifying true Thanksgiving horror stories. These are the tales that will leave you questioning the safety of your own holiday table. Don't forget to put on your headphones for the best audio experience. And let's begin. Story 1. The Stranger at the Table. It was Thanksgiving Day in 2013 when the Wilson family in upstate New York hosted a potluck dinner. Their home was filled with friends, family, and neighbors, the scent of turkey and pumpkin pie wafting through the air. Halfway through the meal, the doorbell rang. Confused, Mr. Wilson got up to answer the door. Standing on the porch was a man in his 40s, dressed in a tattered coat, his face pale and gaunt. He introduced himself as Tom, claiming to be a traveler who had gotten lost and was looking for shelter. Feeling sorry for the man, the Wilsons invited him in. He sat at the end of the table, mostly silent, but occasionally smiling and nodding. The family tried to make conversation, but Tom's responses were vague and unsettling. After dessert, Tom excused himself, thanking the family for their kindness, and left. It wasn't until later, when they were clearing the table, that Mrs. Wilson noticed the silverware was missing, along with one of the carving knives. That night, the family slept uneasily. The next morning, the news reported a string of break-ins and assaults in the area. The police sketch of the suspect looked eerily like Tom. The Wilsons later found out that Tom wasn't just a lost traveler. He was a fugitive who had escaped from a nearby psychiatric facility. Story 2. The Uninvited Guest. In 2009, a group of college friends rented a cabin in the woods to celebrate Thanksgiving away from their hectic lives. It was a picturesque setting: thick forests, a cozy fireplace, and a large table filled with homemade dishes. As the group settled in for the night, they noticed something strange. The cabin was eerily cold, despite the roaring fire. Then they began hearing soft footsteps on the wooden floor above them. At first, they thought it might be an animal, but when one of them went to investigate, they found muddy footprints leading from an upstairs window to the attic door. Terrified, they armed themselves with kitchen knives and flashlights, deciding to confront whatever or whoever was hiding in the attic. But when they opened the door, the space was empty, except for a single dusty plate with remnants of turkey on it. The next morning, the group packed up and left early. Later, they learned that the cabin's previous owner had disappeared without a trace the Thanksgiving before, and the property had been abandoned ever since. Story 3. The Family Curse. In 1987, the Holloway family gathered in their ancestral home, an old Victorian mansion passed down for generations. According to family lore, the house was cursed. Every Thanksgiving, something terrible happened to a member of the Holloway family. Most of them dismissed it as an old wives' tale, but that year, Aunt Lydia swore she heard whispers coming from the dining room when no one else was around. During dinner, the chandelier above the table began to sway, even though there was no draft. Then the lights flickered, plunging the room into darkness. When the power came back on, the family noticed that Uncle Robert was slumped over in his chair. At first, they thought he had fallen asleep, but when they shook him, he didn't respond. The coroner later determined he had died of a heart attack, but Lydia was convinced it wasn't natural. She claimed to have seen a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room just before the lights went out. The family hasn't celebrated Thanksgiving in that house since. Sometimes, the things we're most thankful for can take a dark turn. As you gather around the table this Thanksgiving, be mindful of who or what you invite in. Until next time, this is The Tales Keeper, wishing you a safe and hauntingly memorable holiday. Don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales, and keep the lights on.